Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Mary. I'm really happy to be here today on behalf of Chatket as the sponsor for today's CMO breakfast. If you guys don't know Chatket, we're the first multi-channel mobile messaging company designed specifically for e-commerce. So we're helping brands like Warby Parker and Rebecca Minkoff to move beyond just email-centric marketing into the world of SMS and Facebook Messenger. Soon to be, Pat and I were just talking about Instagram DMs and WeChat and more. We're helping them have a better experience for their customer throughout the mobile journey. So any of you looking to forge better relationships there would love to connect after. But more importantly, to the guy you've all been waiting for, I'm honored to introduce today's speaker, Pat LaCroix. Pat LaCroix leads global demand generation at Bose, where his team is responsible for global partnerships and sponsorships in sports, music, and entertainment, as well as paid media and social media. Last year, Pat was honored for his accomplishments by SportsBusiness Journal in its annual 40 Under 40. Prior to joining Bose, Pat served as a senior advisor of marketing at CVS Health and held senior roles in the media departments of both Mediahub, Mullen and Havas, servicing some great brands such as Fidelity, Goodyear, and National Geographic. Please help me in welcoming to the stage Pat LaCroix.
Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate it. Hi. Good morning. First of all, thanks to Mary. Thank you for Taylor for the very nice introduction. It's a real honor to be here. As Taylor gave a little bit of my background, I've considered myself part of the Boston advertising community for about 15 years. I find it to be very tight-knit and a very supportive community. And I'm very appreciative of the Ad Club for having me and getting a little bit of a chance to talk about our story here at Bose. And just like the Ad Club, I think the Bose is truly a great, Boston area-based brand, and a global one at that. But first and foremost, our story started in Boston. Excuse me. So it's a real pleasure and honor for me to get to share a little bit about that story, where we've been and where we're going. To talk a little bit about our story, first, we really can't tell anything about Bose without starting with a little bit of a tale about our founder himself. Dr. Bose, Armar Bose, he began his professional career as a professor, and he remained a professor for his entire professional career. He was a professor at MIT and was very, very passionate about engineering and audio and science. And he had a very, very curious mind. As the story was told, somewhere around 1956, he was really, really excited to kind of buy his first at-home stereo speaker system. I was really excited, had high anticipation, couldn't wait to plug it in, so to speak, and hear his favorite music just as he thought the artist intended, almost as if the artist was in his living room. Unfortunately, once he opened up the box, so to speak, and hit play, he found the music experience to be very unsatisfactory. Basically found that the music was just blasting at him and was not at all the way the musicians had intended for him to hear it. So Dr. Bose was a very curious individual and a very persistent one. So he set out from that moment around 1956 to find a better situation, to do something new and different so that customers in the future would never have such an unsatisfactory music experience like he did. And that led him to find and open up Bose Corporation in 1964. And during that time, he was very, very dedicated and committed to kind of creating a new listening experience and a better listening experience to make customers happy. So in 1968 is when the company really took off, and Bose introduced the 901 stereo system. And what the 901 did was, rather than blasting music directly in singular individual vehicles, if you will, it kind of used this notion of reflective sound and broadcasting music through different drivers and transducers off different parts of the room. So it wasn't coming directly at you, but kind of coming in a much more immersive way, almost in a surround sound way. And this really kind of set the company off on its trajectory and kind of forged the path for the company would follow for many years. somewhere along that time, too, not only was Bose Corporation and Dr. Bose introducing new innovative products that customers had never experienced before, we were also starting to introduce new and innovative ways of marketing. And kind of in way before the days of people using phrases like data-driven marketing, Bose was doing it itself, building an in-house and very robust direct marketing engine that was very much meant to kind of tell customers why they needed to buy our products. And in this case, it was the Wave Radio, which, just like the 901, was very much a revolutionary type product in the marketplace and in the history of Bose. And really kind of market itself on the benefits of small size to big performance and real quality performance. So not only was this a wonderful, innovative product, but the way the product was marketed, direct to customers, really telling them in grave detail why this product was different and how it was going to vastly improve their music listening experience, was kind of, a first of its kind. And I love looking at ads like these because, as I said, this was kind of the foray into real data-driven marketing before data-driven marketing was a thing. And every word, every font size, every image, every placement on this ad was tested and measured and optimized way before things like optimization was even a thing. And I love to particularly call out here the phone number. So not only was there a phone number, there was also an extension. And I guarantee Dr. Bose and the marketing department of its time at Bose Corporation tested the best extension to drive the most return and response from the customers. And at the end of the day, R64A was definitely the number to call back in the day. So as we kind of moved later into the 20th century, the innovations in products continued, and around the turn of the century, we introduced noise-canceling headphones. This here is an early iteration of the quiet headphones that many of you might know today. And the story of these noise cancellation headphones, and Bose is the company that invented noise cancellation and noise cancellation headphones, came from an experience that Dr. Bose had all the way back in 1978. He was on a transatlantic flight from London back to Boston. And it was the first time they handed out headphones on the flight. And his anticipation and excitement grew as the story is told. He's very excited to be able to listen to his favorite types of music on an airplane to pass the time. And of course, once you know it, put on the headsets, and again, very unsatisfying experience. He could hear everything around him. The sounds of the engines and the hustle and bustle of the plane were actually more pronounced than they would be if he wasn't listening to anything at all. So as the story is told, he set out on that flight and kind of started to write up the early formulas, if you would, of what noise cancellation would be. And the idea of noise cancellation is a tough one to wrap your head around. The actually best way to cancel noise is to actually make more noise. So even though when you put on noise-canceling headphones today, and of course everyone in this room only puts on Bose noise-canceling headphones, you put it on, it's kind of that butter, like, very quiet sound. It's actually, what's making that happen is more noise within the technology of the headsets is what's canceling out. So yet another very innovative product that demonstrably changed customer behavior, delivered new customer benefits, and heightened customer expectations. Was introduced to the market, and as we did that, again, we continued to run the same marketing playbook of direct marketing ads well into the 21st century, up until just a few years ago. And once again, everything here, I'm sure, was tested and optimized to a T. This is about 900-something words of copy with a little BRC postcard rip-out, phone number, new extension, probably around the year 2000, 2001. R664A was no longer the extension of choice, and it became Q1737 was what really was going to drive the business. So again, data-driven marketing before that was ever a thing. So as I said, Dr. Bose, first and foremost, was a teacher, and a saying that is across many presentations and across many walls at Bose is up here on the screen. If you don't understand the past, you're unlikely to get to the future. And this is a real key driver of how we think and operate at Bose. Day in and day out, we have a healthy respect and knowledge of who we are, where we've been, and how that informs where we're going. So Dr. Bose passed away in 2013. I never personally met the man. I joined Bose myself in 2014. And even though I never met him, as I said, he was a teacher through and through. And I feel like for me personally, His teachings and the learnings I've taken on the history of Bose has made a mark in my career and my decision-making day in and day out. And he not only was a teacher, he was a really remarkable man with remarkable vision, remarkable ideas, remarkable passion, and remarkable actions. And I think of all the things I've just shared, probably the most remarkable action is actually one that he did in one of the final years of his life, which was to decide to endow Bose Corporation and the non-voting shares of Bose Corporation to MIT. So the campus right across the road has a strong, strong relationship with Bose. Like I said, Dr. Bose started his career and was forever a professor at MIT. And in his kind of final days, he came to the decision that he wanted to make sure that Bose and MIT were kind of connected at the hip forever. And some of the reasons why he did that was he first believed that staying private was critically important to Bose Corporation. Being private allows Bose to continually play for the long run, make decisions, and serve customers based on what's best for them and what's best for the long-term vitality of the company, but then also for the customer experience. He also wanted to ensure that the company was forever kind of self-funding and on a model and guiding principles of research and development and engineering. So really ensuring that Bose would forever stay private and forever make decisions and investments that would ultimately improve and benefit customer experience. So as I said, I joined shortly after Dr. Bose passed. I never personally met the man, but he made a remarkable impact on me, and those of us who remain at Bose today are extremely loyal and grateful for all that he did for us. So Dr. Bose passed in 2013, but that didn't mean we didn't continue to try to uphold his legacy and recreate the past. So this is an ad I can actually take somewhat credit for. In 2014, we ran materials such as this, the Bose Wave Music System 3. Again, this time it looks like we didn't have any phone number, but still had, marketing the benefits of 5 CD changers and things of that nature, and running heavy print advertising in places like Parade Magazine and ARP. And nothing against those titles, it's just those started to kind of not become quite as effective as they used to be so many years ago. So this really wasn't working, and we didn't need to look any further than something Dr. Bose would tell us, that this was a bad idea, where he said, not only if you don't understand the past, you're unlikely to get to the future, but if you're bound by the past, you'll never get there with anything you're proud of. And in this decade of social media, we needed to kind of change our approach, because the consumer was no longer going to be able to sit through and read 1,000-word advertisements and dial up phone numbers with specific extensions. We needed to try a new play. So, somewhat overnight and on the fly, we did that. We changed our marketing strategy quite dramatically. We stopped doing the old direct marketing ways with long print ads and extensions, and we tried to operate in much more of a mass marketing way. We started to do big media buys in big mass vehicles and big partnerships in very big places, not the least of which was a partnership we started with the NFL. So a very private company that had been very much doing direct one-to-one marketing is now playing in some of the most public spaces there are, bringing on very high visibility and bringing on a whole new level of attention and competition that it was not ready for. So here we were in 2014 and 2015, a company that was not used to being talked about, was not used to being in the public eye, was now front and center in the public eye, being talked about in places like the New York Times. And I'll say 2 things. Number 1, those clearly are not Bose headphones. Those things are hideous, not very good performing. Just why anyone would ever wear those, I would never know. I'd also say, for you young, aspiring marketers in the room, you have not lived until you wake up one day and the New York Times is telling you that you are bad at your job. So I have now lived that experience. I am still here to tell you about it. But yeah, it was some rough times then. And basically, we were getting caught red-handed by the public and the press for trying to be something that we weren't. And it was a terrible look, and it was a terrible feeling, and we needed to kind of go back to basics. So what we did was we really took a long look in the mirror, thought about who we are, what we stand for, what was going to make us stand out, and really connect with the consumer in a way that is authentic, relevant, but very distinguishable to Bose. So these are some guiding principles. As a marketing organization, we started to draft up to guide all of our decisions and all of our actions when it comes to how we're going to go to market and how we're going to market Bose and who we're going to partner and how we're going to partner. And we take these very, very seriously in every day and every decision that we make. So as we've started to kind of take these guiding principles and be really disciplined in our actions and our behaviors, we've started to develop a portfolio that much more represents what the brand is and, more importantly, connects to consumers what makes Bose different. So we talked about the NFL. We've really honed in on how we work with the NFL, really honing in on the benefits that we deliver to coaches and players. We are on the sidelines of every NFL game. Every NFL coaches uses our noise cancellation headsets. Those are actual Bose noise cancellation headsets. They're a descendant of military aviation grade headsets that we made going back to the Desert Storm period back in the early 90s. That is a demonstrable, improvable benefit to how coaches communicate amongst themselves on the sidelines. And we're very proud of the work we've done there, and we've absolutely tangibly improved the gameplay as a result. We've also really honed in on how we work with and talk with players, really clicking in on and focusing on how we make the players be their best in the time leading up to kickoff. We've also expanded into other markets and other partnerships, working with Formula One and particularly the Mercedes-AMG team, which has exposed us to a global market and has allowed us to work with the best team by far in Formula One. Mercedes has won 5 straight championships. Lewis Hamilton, the driver featured there on the bottom, has won 5 now, 4 of the last 5 running. This is an opportunity where we can really have a shared partnership with a partner that shares our appreciation and commitment and excellence to performance and technical excellence. And at the same time, like I said, really expanding our reach to markets beyond just the US, across Europe, as well as into Asia as well. And then closer to home, we've also really clicked into a partnership with skiers and snowboarders. So here we're featuring 2 of the best in their respective sports, Michaela Schifrin in alpine skiing, and Chloe Kim in snowboarding. And the interesting thing about skiing and snowboarding is these are some of the few sports on the planet where professional athletes can actually use music and listen to headphones, so to speak, while competing. So this, again, allows us to tell a story that only we can tell and tangibly connect how Bose innovation and Bose technology really drives benefits for the athletes. And I'm proud to say this great work is being recognized. So just at the last Super Bowl, it was a little bit of a virtual victory lap for the team because we got a lot of great recognition for the marketplace that I thought was kind of really a nice kind of cherry on top as all the long, hard work the team has done over the last 3 or 4 years. So we've been recognized by multiple accredited third parties like Bain and Hookit for the work that we've done here. I love the little headline here under Hookit, which says something to the effect of getting the most bang for your sponsorship buck. I mean, as someone who has sponsorship responsibilities, kind of having that phrase said about the work you do, you just can't beat that. And I'd also love to just reflect here, for this moment, it wasn't just about kind of drilling down and identifying, guiding principles and a really smart strategy. Of course, that really helped us improve and kind of get to the place we're at. But at the end of the day, it's really the people at Bose that makes Bose such a special place. And in those dark, dark times, everyone came so much closer together to kind of really help formulate and define who we are and who we should be. And I've been blessed to work with such a wonderful team day to day. When I joined Bose in 2014, I actually thought most of the job was going to be figuring out how many pages of Wave advertising to buy in Parade magazine. Pretty quickly, I found out it was going to be a lot more than that. Witness New York Times headline. But the team has been so wonderful in working together, and to do these things on such a big public scale takes so much more than just the marketing department. And it's really been a cross-company commitment with great contributions across the company in product, design, creative. Our internal creative department's been really great to work with. Legal, procurement, human resources, public relations. I could go on and on. I would also say, in this case, like leadership goes so far, and we've been blessed, and I've been blessed to have great leaders. Mike Mangione, who brought me to Bose and was my manager for the first 2.5 years, showed such courage and conviction and support through some of the darkest times. Bob Maresca, who's currently our chairman and was our president and CEO, just showed such great commitment and support to us. And just having that kind of commitment from up top really enabled us to make the tough choices and do the work that we need to do. So in tough times, it's kind of those that are around you, your family and friends, that really help you through those tough times. And at Bose, it definitely has that family and friend dynamic. So as we now kind of shift into where we are today, we have an interesting time in our brand's trajectory, so to speak. As I've talked about to this point, we will forever be about innovation and technology that delivers real customer benefits. That is something that we kind of call a timeless essence and value at Bose. And over the past 55 years or so, traditionally, we've delivered that benefit to the marketplace in delivering audio that entertains. Traditionally, audio for listening to music, watching TV, watching for movies. And that has done really, really well for the company. The company has become a multi-billion-dollar global brand by doing that. But in today's day and age, consumers expect more. They need more. We're used to having supercomputer phones and wearables that kind of keep track of everything for us and tell us everything we need and do so in a very seamless, personalized manner. So with that, being a company that's forever dedicated to delivering innovation and technology that delivers real customer benefits, we need to evolve, and we need to kind of serve that new consumer demand and expectation. So we really need to kind of pivot into delivering audio not just for entertainment, but audio that helps you live your life. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about the moves we're making into the wellness space, the wearable space, and other spaces. If we think about wellness, which is a category Bose has just started to get into over the past year or so, here we see the opportunity to really help people live healthier, more engaged lives. If we think about kind of the circle of wellness, so to speak, there's a bunch of different areas we could probably play in and help, but we've really identified sleep and hearing as two main areas where Bose can tangibly make a demonstrable and improved difference in the customer's livelihood. So some of you may have seen in the last year, we've introduced Bose Sleep Buds, noise masking sleep buds. These are tiny, wireless, fit very comfortably in your ear sleep buds that provide soothing, noise masking sounds. They are not noise canceling. They do not stream music, but what they do is fit in very comfortably in your ear and get you to sleep quicker and help you stay asleep longer and better. And I think most folks by now know one of the best things you can do for yourself, and probably very few of us actually do, is get a good night's sleep. So this is a place where if we can, with as many sleep buds as we can sell, and get as many people as we can to have a better night's sleep, this is a place where we're really helping people be their best and help reach their fullest human potential. So this is a really exciting play and bet on behalf of the company. In terms of kind of marketing sleep buds, we first and foremost have really tried to develop very credible, authentic partnerships that really allow Bose to both be with and speak with and act as a real thought leader in the space. So I first would love to highlight some of the work we've done with Thrive Global. And Thrive Global, if you're not familiar with it, was founded and is led by Arianna Huffington, who many of you have probably heard and might be familiar with her work as with the Huffington Post, which was obviously a super successful online publisher over the last 15 years. And Arianna started Thrive a couple of years ago, kind of in her commitment and as part of her journey to live a more healthier, more mindful place. And she's really become one of the key main kind of influencers and talking heads, if you will, on the subject of sleep. So just in the past 6 months, we've really started to roll out a slew of content, a slew of events, a slew of activations with Thrive and with Ariana on the benefits of sleep and what Bose is doing to kind of help get people to sleep better, longer, faster. In fact, Ariana was just in our office actually she couldn't make the office because we live in New England and we had snow that day. So she dialed into our office for about 5 hours for a really good collaborative session. And the nice thing about working with Ariana and Thrive is not only are they super credible and connected to the topic of sleep and a big thought leader on the topic, Ariana is also someone who has a lot of famous and noteworthy friends. So if you told me 2 months ago that part of my presentation would include Diddy and our products, I'd be like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But wouldn't you know it, just last week, Instagram story, Diddy's Instagram story, not Ariana's, we popped up, there we are, and apparently Diddy, like many, many other folks, are starting to think about how do I get a better night's sleep so I can be my best self. So that was a great win for us and really, really cool to see. Beyond working with thought leaders kind of on the topic of sleep, one of the big insights we've seen is when you're talking about sleep, couples is probably a key target we have to speak with. You know, folks tend to have trouble staying asleep or getting to sleep because of a partner, a snoring partner, a loud partner, a disruptive partner. I'm blessed to have my wife here today. I'm sure she'll attest that is not me. I will pay back the favor and say that is neither her. Not to pretend, though, we actually get a good night's sleep. But those are for other reasons. So with that, we really honed in on that insight and have done a lot of different work with couples to kind of tell our story. Quite a few different, more known couples, if you will. We're both partners are well recognized for their own individual acts. And one piece I would love to share is some work we've done with Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos.
I don't snore, you snore. Now let's make out.
What's that
Oh,
mean?
yeah, you're the big
Am
spoon.
I the big spoon?
Yeah.
I just like the sound of it. I think we both do.
I think we're both sleep strugglers.
We're light sleepers.
I found that this year Mark took up snoring as a hobby, so I find that if I put the Bose sleep buds in, I don't have to hear him. You just go into the app, pull up the sound you like best, like a campfire or falling water.
And maybe you'll stop kicking me now that if you have those buds in.
You make that weird sound.
What sounds?
It's like, I
like-
will set the alarm a full hour before I am expected to get up because I have to hit the snooze button 15 times.
So we made that in partnership with both Men's Health and Women's Health as a way to speak to kind of both sides of the couples equation. We're really happy with how that turned out. Next, I'd love to talk about some of the work we're doing in hearing. So here you see here a picture of a product we released last year called the Bose Hearphones. You know, the thing about hearing, first and foremost, kind of an obvious, like no doubt, Bose should be doing things around hearing. We're an audio company. It only took us 55 years to kind of arrive at that idea. But you know, hearing is something, and those suffering mild to moderate hearing loss, it's a real public health issue. Tens of millions of just Americans, let alone folks around the world, are suffering from mild to moderate hearing loss and aren't doing anything about it. They're in denial. They don't want to go through the hassle. Hearing aids tend to be bulky and kind of ugly. It could be expensive, going through the red tape of insurance and the doctors and getting fitted. And then if you actually all do that, it still doesn't quite fit right. So you end up, I'm not going to wear it today. And it becomes a real nuisance in the day-to-day life of folks who are suffering hearing loss. And it really is a real nuisance and a pain for those family and friends and caregivers who are living and being with those people day in and day out. So the size of this problem is actually of a mass magnitude. And you know, we are starting to really explore what can we do to make this better and really, you know, help, if not solve, at least improve a real public health issue. So the Bose Hearphones is our first introduction into the marketplace, and these are look very much like headphones. If any of you know our QC30 product, which is a noise-canceling in-ear headphone. These look very much the same in terms of form factor, and what they're tuned to do is, help people hear every word, particularly in very noisy, loud spaces. So if you're in a noisy restaurant, for instance, you can hear very clearly the conversation that you're intending to have with someone. So really, really remarkable product, really allowing us to really, improve many people's lives. And we think something that can really provide a great opportunity, not just for Bose, but for many customers. Last October was a major milestone in the history of Bose, but particularly for kind of our hearing business, which was we got accredited by the FDA. And this is not a small feat. This is not a so what. The idea of being accredited by the FDA was they have said that Bose can now sell and market hearing aids, as we call them, hearphones, over the counter, direct to consumer. And the FDA doesn't just give these accreditations, out for, like it's, deli counter or anything like that. They did 125. I have my legal counsel here, he'll correct me. 125 clinical trials, and based off those outcomes, the FDA determined that the Bose hearing aids sold direct over the counter work as well, if not better, than if they were fitted by a professional and kind of given to you directly through a doc or the insurance companies. So what this means now is we can give people hearing aids much faster, easier than they're used to. And oh, by the way, we're selling ours at a much lower price, like 10 times lower price than what a traditional, on average, hearing aid is going to cost you annually. So this is really an opportunity, an example of Bose giving real demonstrable benefits to the customer and improving customers' lives. It's also given us an opportunity to kind of really raise awareness around the issue and really encourage people to do something about their hearing loss. So this was just an example. World Hearing Day was just a few weeks ago on March 3rd, and we really leaned in this opportunity not to sell product or talk about our products, but really just say, hey, today's World Hearing Day. You guys, if you feel like you're suffering from hearing loss or you might be at risk, go get your hearing checked out. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Chris Kelleher and our social media team. They jumped all over this and did great work with our internal creative team to kind of put the message out there. And really thrilled to see this type of work starting to hit the marketplace, because when you're doing good work like this, it's really making a difference and a positive difference in customers' lives. As a brand and a marketer, it just doesn't get any better than that. So great job to the team, and really excited about where we're going in hearing. On the other side of our business, talking a little bit more about wearables, over the last few years, all of our products have started to become more mobile and intelligent, smart, if you will, connected to the cloud. And this is really starting to introduce new opportunities for us through data and through technology about what we can do for customers. So traditionally, like I said, it's always been about audio for entertainment, and in the case of headphones, traditionally listening to music or maybe podcasts. But in the future, we're seeing the opportunity to make our headphones smarter and communicate and deliver experiences to customers around an array of functions. So not just listening to music, but talking to one another thanks to voice communications, figuring out location and maps and navigation, doing things that you might be used to getting from your phone, but doing in more of a heads-up, hands-free way, and travel and things like that. So a lot of new exciting things happening in the wearable space. I think, as everyone knows, speakers and headphones have gotten a lot more smarter. Probably these companies are the ones that get the most credit for that, right? With Siri and Alexa and Google Assistant. We're at an interesting crossroads with our company where we make a lot of products. The expectation is these products are going to be smart and can talk to the customer. So we've started to partner with these types of companies. And honestly, I think in the old days, Bose would not have partnered with these companies. Bose was a very private, insular place. But it's a new day, and we've really opened up, and we've really understood the need to kind of partner, and most importantly, give customers what they want and need, and give them improved customer benefit. So we have started to partner with all of these companies, and I recognize where I am. I'm at Google, And I will say, just full disclaimer, Google, if you know how to talk to me, if you want to talk to me, you know how to get to me. Happy to pick up that phone call. But I'm actually going to share some work we did with Amazon. And this aired last fall, and this was a TV campaign and a campaign that was actually created by the team at Amazon. But I think you'll see as you watch it, it comes across very much as a Bose and Alexa piece of communication. And kind of behind the scenes, what was super cool is that our creative team worked really closely with the Amazon creative team, and Mick O'Brien, who's in the audience here, kind of helped lead that work. So just another great example of kind of changing how we behave and partnering in new ways to first and foremost deliver benefits to the customer and drive reach for Bose.
Alexa, play morning music.
You might be the only one who's ever seen the light of day. I'll go wherever you will live.
Alexa, add bananas to my shopping list. Okay.
So what's great about that is, you really start to see, and it's just the tip of the iceberg, but you start to see, okay, there's what headphones can start to do and do things more than just listen to music. So not only are we making our headphones smarter, but we're also starting to get into new categories in and of itself. So some of you may be familiar that we now have sunglasses. And these just aren't any sunglasses. These are Bose frames. These are sunglasses that, first and foremost, are great sunglasses. Also FDA approved, right? Because to actually make lenses, that's a medical commitment. But they also play music, and soon will do a lot of other things. So we've had a lot of fun over the last couple months, launching this product and marketing this product. It's allowing us to reach new audiences and deliver the benefits of Bose technology to audiences that otherwise aren't used to having Bose. And here we've really been focused on, to market sunglasses, you first and foremost have to market fashion. People aren't going to put something on their head if it doesn't look good. So we've had a lot of fun kind of playing at the intersection of marketing first and foremost at fashion, but kind of supporting it with the benefits that Bose brings in terms of its technology and music listening capabilities. So as you can kind of see here from our launch spot, I think we've done a nice job of hitting all the notes, so to speak.
Sunshine dripping down my face.
So Frames has been just a great breath of fresh air to the brand and to our team. I stand by the statement I've made a million times now that they actually are one of, if not our best headphones, period. The actual music listening quality on Frames and the ability to take and make calls is tremendous. So it's been really exciting. The product's off to a nice start. Right now it's just being distributed in the US, limited distribution, but well above expectation. And we're really excited to kind of open up the distribution channels, both domestically and globally in the months to come. So like I said, it's been really great. We've really been trying to hone in on fashion and kind of reach and market into new spaces and places. So one example of we did this was just a few weeks ago, we were at the New England Patriots Invitational, otherwise known as Super Bowl 53. And there, if you've ever been to the Patriots Invitational, aka the Super Bowl, there's a great cross section of athletes and entertainers, influencers, and just a lot of wonderful, beautiful people. So we were able to put on a great event that featured not just our NFL talent, but a lot of influencers from a lot of different intersections of culture. And I think you can see that the product kind of speaks for themselves. And I encourage everyone to look at some of the reactions to folks kind of putting the glasses on their head.
Bose, the official sound partner of Super Bowl 53, is taking audio to the next level. Introducing sunglasses with a soundtrack. This is really cool. Last night, Bose and its NFL ambassadors, Larry Fitzgerald, Aaron Rodgers, Saquon Barkley, there you go, Penn State, Christian McCaffrey, and Russell Wilson celebrated the launch of new audio sunglasses Bose frames. So these sunglasses, they have tiny Bose speakers built in so you can listen to music, keep up with the game, take calls in style.
Yeah, so obviously everyone had a lot of fun at that event, and that was a great hit. We've also started to expand our partnerships and our relationships into new spaces. So just like I never thought we'd be working with Diddy, I never thought we'd be working with the NBA. The NBA has not usually been territory that Bose has played in. A lot of other audio headphone companies kind of tend to take up the airspace there. But with the glasses and the insight that the NBA is very fashion forward, and the kind of walk in to the stadium is like kind of its own fashion runway, and social media is so big and it's a big fashion statement for the NBA players, we said, hey, you know what? We got to be there, and we got to be with these guys. So the team's done a great job identifying the right types of partners for us to launch with, and we've started to build a lot of equity with some key NBA guys. Victor Oladipo on your left, Mo Bamba in the middle, and Luka Doncic, who's likely the Rookie of the Year, all the way on the other side. So it's been great to work with these guys. We're reaching new folks in ways never before imaginable. Luka plays for the Dallas Mavericks, which is owned by Mark Cuban, who many might know is a big internet entrepreneur and probably a billionaire. So Mark has actually been directly communicating with us because he loves the frames and he has lots of ideas. So there's just the creativity is flowing as a result of this. And then also, we've really wanted to think about how we bring these to life in music. And if I could speak a moment about our music strategy, we've really gone in, if I talked about the guiding principles before, about making sure Bose is telling stories only Bose can tell, and being really unique and differentiated. For us, from a music standpoint, it's been really important to kind of have our own story. Music and music marketing has become quite co-opted and cluttered over the years with packaged goods and financial services, let alone audio brands. So we've really gone all in on telling stories with emerging independent artists who most folks don't know and are still trying to shape their own stories. So with Frames, we've had a lot of fun actually making music videos with a bunch of these artists. And before I show this, I'll just give a shout out to Kyle Graham, who has his imprint on a few of these examples. But for this one in particular, he's done an amazing job kind of identifying the right artists for us to work with and kind of becoming a little bit of a music video creator on his spare time.
And I never grew up, no, I never grew up. Feels like I'm still a kid.
My favorite way to listen to music is definitely walking around. It's like your life soundtrack. You're like, now I'm in my world.
Sometimes it feels like I'm still a kid, but everybody is.
So we love that work. It's definitely speaking to a different type of audience, a new audience, a younger audience than we traditionally have, and it's been really well received. And just because you probably don't know who that is Bali. She is a part of United Masters, which is an organization that's very committed to working with artists in an independent fashion, kind of outside the traditional music label machine, if you will. So we're really pumped about that work. So then finally, I'll just spend a minute talking about Bose AR. AR as in augmented reality. As we like to talk about at Bose, it's about audio augmented reality. Most people think about AR and they think about Snapchat lenses or the Pokemon Go game. Those are great and fine, but those are all about the visual. We actually think the opportunity in AR is audio, and how audio can kind of help improve people's lives and help them do more, be more, feel more. So as we talk about AR, as it says here, it's really about giving people kind of heads-up, hands-free experiences, but giving them the information that they might be used to just kind of going to their phone and pecking on, but doing it in a much more engaged, kind of elevated way. So as we're starting to roll out AR, essentially all of our wearable devices, be it headphones, sunglasses, or other kind of wearable out loud products, will start to become equipped with AR, that you can kind of activate content through different head motions, tap, or voice. And we're starting to work with the developer communities and basically folks who kind of create apps and software experiences to start to develop experiences for the Bose AR platform. And it's an interesting time to be standing up here because many of you are probably aware South by Southwest has been going on. The interactive portion is just ending as we speak. And we were at South by this past 4 or 5 days kind of announcing all the great developments and progress we've made in the AR space. It was only a year ago at South by Southwest that we even started talking about AR and what that can do. And then this past year, a year forward now, just this past weekend, we were able to kind of come back, share all the different things we've done. We've already started to launch a bunch of different apps in gaming, in travel, in sports and fitness. If you're a golfer, we're working with an app maker called Golf Shot that can kind of let you know how much yardage you have, what clubs you should be hitting based on where you are, all through a little double tap of your glasses. So really, really exciting stuff. We think this is a real opportunity to kind of disrupt current consumer behavior, but in a very positive way, so that, again, people can kind of get all the content they need, all the content and information they want and need, but again, in a very heads-up, kind of more engaged, present way than maybe the kind of current user consumer behavior is. So that is a little bit about where we've been and where we're going at Bose. I will just leave you with a couple final words. It's really important for us, and I think for most brands, to constantly be focused and driven by what's most important to the consumer and what's going to benefit the consumer the most. I'd like to think, and hopefully you saw today, that in spite of quite a aggressive and accelerated evolution across the company's history, we've always been laser focused on that. Dream and reach is a vernacular that's quite common around Bose, but it is kind of thinking above the status quo and challenging the status quo in a way that's going to deliver demonstrable improvement. And Dr. Bose actually used to say, as I've seen on video, if you want to be better, you can't be better without being new and different. So you have to constantly challenge yourself to be new and different. We were very data-driven. As I said, I think Bose was data-driven before that was even a thing. And then optimizing is so key. And as you've seen over our trajectory, not everything worked quite as well as we had hoped. There were some mistakes, some public mistakes, but we kind of took those thumpings, learned from them, and then made decisions and investments accordingly that was going to improve our chances for success the next time around. So with that, I'll open it up to questions, if there are any.
Sure. Hey, Pat, Josh Currier with Dana-Farber. I'm in fundraising, and my wife is actually an oncologist in the Jimmy Fund Clinic. I literally spent the night on the couch last night because her pager was going off so frequently. So I think sleep buds may be in our future. So
all
very
right,
cool,
you know
very
who to
cool
call.
product. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot recently, our organization was founded by Dr. Sidney Farber, and I've been thinking about how to better connect, sort of as we talk about our organization. Oh boy, quiet. Telling our origin story. I think people really love to hear an origin story, and you've been talking about Dr. Bose and how you sort of keep his vision alive in your work, and thinking about how to do that better in some of my materials talking about Dr. Farber. Can you just share maybe, again, a little bit more about how you keep Dr. Bose's vision and origin story alive in your marketing?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of our decisions we make, the strategies we arrive at, it's very much influenced by who we are and where we've been, and he certainly was a massive part of that. In terms of consumer-facing communication, we don't do a ton of that. I would say a few things. When we do it, we're very selective of it. So on our site, on YouTube, we have some longer form content that can kind of bring you deeper into that I think is appropriate. There's a wonderful film that Mick and T made a few years ago called Dream and Reach. It's 22 minutes. I think it's an enthralling view. I can't expect every customer to actually go through it. That really got deep into our history. But I do think in terms of consumer-facing pieces, I think you can trade off and demonstrate the equity you have in kind of appropriate bits and pieces. So one example I can think of is 2 years ago, we made a spot around NFL that was wildly successful. It featured J.J. Watt, who's well known as one of the best players in the league, but then also John Urschel, who actually has his PhD from MIT, but was also an NFL player for the Baltimore Ravens. And in the spot, JJ was kind of enjoying the benefits of our noise cancellation headsets, and Urshel was kind of telling him all that was in there. And it kind of was like the nice balance of like giving the value and the entertainment to the customer, but also kind of getting credit for why Bose was different than, say, another brand in audio. So.
Hey, thank you. Awesome. Paul Bermel with Nesson. Bose, from a marketing standpoint, has always been historically known for tracking media and return on investment. Obviously, as you showed with the print ads and extensions and so forth. What percent or commitment in the organization, from a resource standpoint, does the organization, is it comprised?
Like
to
the
do that
measurement?
now that you're migrating into?
Yeah.
The tracking and the
Yeah.
return on investment.
So there's a question you're asking, like, how much do we measure? How important is measurement?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
100%. So even though we might not be doing traditional direct response print ads anymore, everything we do is measured to very precise levels. We wouldn't be able to do the things we're doing without that level of measurement. At the end of the day, it's still a company that's grounded in engineering, with a lot of engineers or folks like engineers in the company. And I and we can't do what we do without being able to say, like, okay, we did this. This is what it delivered. So we have a pretty deep, robust internal analytics group. We work with third parties. We do marketing mix modeling. We do a lot of other measurement. We test all the creative we put out there pre and post. A lot of things into it.
Hi, my name is Ben Hirschman, and you spoke at length about new product categories and reaching new audiences, and it was really interesting to hear about all that. And of course, as you reach new audiences, of course, your competition grows immensely. So I wanted to ask how you feel your role has evolved over the last 5 years as you've introduced new product categories, and how do you approach the challenges that you face in balancing staying relevant in your core offerings, but also being seen as this innovative new company?
Yeah, so having the benefit of working for a super, super strong, well-respected brand cuts through a lot of that. I think having the Bose name associated to anything that we're doing brings some gravitas and credibility to it. That said, that only goes so far. You have to still prove it. And I'm just the marketer. And a lot of times I joke, like, I don't really work at Bose. I just do the window dressing. I mean, the real, like, Bose, like the people who are actually, like, making the products and the technology, I mean, they make our lives so much better and easier. And the commitment they have to giving the customer that better experience and letting them kind of feel more, be more, do more, whatever it is, that's what makes the difference. So, we'll enter into the sleep category or hearing category, and like there's a nice little bit of, oh, wow, Bose, okay, I should check that out because that's a strong brand. But we need to deliver on great products to help people sleep better or hear better. And if we don't, we're going to get destroyed. So there's a ton of commitment and just sincerity across the Bose organization, particularly those making the products themselves, to make sure we deliver on what's best for the consumer. And if it's not going to be a better, demonstrably improved customer experience, we're probably not going to do it. So that's the key. Strong brand, but at the end of the day, great experiences and products. And sorry, being private and playing for the long run kind of ties into some of that stuff, because it might be different if we were public and having to talk about ourselves every quarter to,
Hi Pat, this is Lucy. I'm with the Boston Business Journal. It was very exciting about your talk about the new products that Bose is making. I'd love to hear if you can share any revenue data that Bose is bringing in with. And on that note, if you can tell us the kind of revenue that the new sunglasses are bringing in, if possible, and especially how you're planning to address the competition to the European market. Thank you.
So respectfully, I cannot give you any of that. So, yeah, they're doing quite well. We are, like I said, a multi-billion-dollar company.
Thanks for your speech. It was great. So can you talk a little bit, you spoke a lot about credibility being very important, and it seems like your marketing strategy is very much around partnerships. Does that, I guess, move you away from, you know, the digital like programmatic landscape at all, or is it just separate?
No, we do lots of that. So I didn't get too much into it here because just didn't have the time. But we do tons of digital marketing. Digital is certainly the dominant part of our mix from a media mix standpoint. Personalization is a key pillar to that. And then kind of optimizing and delivering to the customers what they want and need with all the, you know, ad tech and marketing tech that helps do that. We do all of it.
Hi, my name is Maria from Norfolk Jefferson. I had a personal question, rather. I loved your presentation.
Do you want to know how much I make personally?
No. No, it's a rather personal question in that I'm from Europe as well, I think. And we love concerts. And we love going to Tomorrowland and all those great concerts. But we do get a lot of public health issues regarding tinnitus. So I was wondering if you have, you know, a new product in your innovation funnel, and if not, you should add
So
it.
the question was a lot of public health issues in terms of, I'm sorry, I missed it.
Tinnitus. Do you know tinnitus? It's like the problem you have in your ear from
Oh,
ear
okay.
ringing. Yeah, it's the beep you have, the constant beep. A lot of people in Europe are suffering more and more. And I was wondering if you had something in that innovation funnel.
I don't know of anything specifically. I'm kind of looking at a few of my friends and family here in the crowd. We do have speakers and systems to service more of what we call professional venues, so concert halls, arenas, things of that nature. But I don't believe we have anything specifically. The thing about Bose, again, part of being private is, and playing for the long run, is there's a lot of projects and problems being worked on that may never see the light of day or are like 10 years from now. So I would bet $1 someone in the company is thinking and working on that, but I can't say for sure. I actually have no idea, but it tends to be, I wouldn't be surprised.
Hello? It was off. Hi, I'm Sarah. It was great hearing about how you guys are integrating with voice search in terms of products and kind of jumping off the question you had before about ad spend and digital marketing. Are you focusing on voice search in terms of how people are searching for products in stores and things like that?
Yeah, it's definitely something that's we're doing a little bit of testing and learning on. Obviously, as the last 3-4 years, Echoes and Google Homes and our products are kind of more on the market, and VPA, you know, virtual personal assistants, are really anchored in voice. You know, as we think about our marketing mix, like how to communicate with folks via more voice technology is definitely something we're doing. Candidly, I haven't seen as much scale in voice search as you would expect. So I think as being very consumer driven and led, like as much as customers are searching Google, give a shout out to Google, via voice, then our investment in the space will kind of commiserate with it.
So I know that Bose can be, I'm Gail, so
Okay.
hi. I know that Bose can be kind of private in what they do, and I just wonder, with the headsets on the NFL, why you don't promote that more for the real benefit that it brings to the coaches in the stadium. When I was at the Super Bowl event, I asked people, why do you think they're wearing a Bose headset? And they said because they paid for placement and sponsorship. How come you don't highlight that? I'm sorry, but like ask your friends in a bar.
Bring
like,
the feedback.
Yeah,
No, that's all good.
they think Pepsi, they hold the cup, you know, because they get the sponsorship. But Bose really brings value to the stadium and the event, and I just wonder why you don't highlight that.
Yeah.
Because you get stuck in a marketing funnel sometimes. And
Yeah, so we haven't done like big mass advertising around that. It's something we've talked about, we think about every year as we go into an NFL season. It's something that comes up, and the team can keep me honest. We do bring it up. But that doesn't mean we haven't done anything. We have done quite a few different things. This past year, we did a video series with Sean McVay, who's the coach of the Rams and is kind of like the young, fresh, innovative face. of the Rams, or of the NFL. So we did quite a bit of content with him where he himself talked about the benefits of our technology, and that ran online. Years previously, we did longer form stuff. We did a lot of stuff with the military a few years ago. So we have done things. I totally hear you. There is if they do it and use it, then I should. I used to work in the tire category, and on Goodyear, we talk about like these tires went to Mars, so I think you can trust them in your minivan. So there is something in what you're saying. It's
You get that with Michaela Schifrin because as a
Mhm.
parent of a ski racer, my son does this all the time, like following the course,
Yeah.
the slalom course. And when you see her put on the headset, you know
Yeah.
what she's doing, and while she's doing it,
Yeah.
I think you're
It's our actual spot. That's fair. That's fair. I think we have to make choices and figure out where we're going to get the most return. And sometimes, it's been a challenge in some ways. And finding the right partners to tell the story also has its challenges. Not every coach, so to speak, is camera ready or friendly. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I work for C-Space. And we call ourselves a customer agency. And I know you had mentioned consumer benefit being something that you really value at Bose. And I'm just wondering, we know that companies that act more human outperform those that don't. And I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about how you keep the voice of the customer front and center in everything that you do.
Yeah, we actually have a group called Voice of the Customer. So that starts it. We continually are organizing the sales and marketing and service functions at Bose to be customer-led and driven. We have a consumer insights group. We have constant kind of research and insight coming from those groups on what the customers want and need. We're also, from an organizational standpoint, trying to bring sales, marketing, and service, aka voice of customer, much closer and partnered with product development, and kind of having it more be end-to-end, where the customer is kind of throughout our decision-making. And we've worked with companies like C-Space, for instance, over time to help us do that. So, a lot of things organizationally and process-wise meant to, hopefully come through in the marketplace.
That is all we have time for.
Okay.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you, everyone.